Okay, Aaron, this is the last game of this session we're going to look at. You were white. Your
What
opponent
was my
was
rating at this game?
995, I believe.
Yeah, 995. Yeah, because it was 994, and then I forced a draw to get 1 point, 995. So I just want to add here the highest I got up to was 957, and that was just a few silly games that got me there. But I was round about 920 to 930, up and down 920, 930, 920, 930. And then I went all the way back down to 780 because I was playing quite emotionally. And then over 2 days, I went from that to 995, and this is it now.
And this is the game you played against Brain 22 Damage with a rating of 989. And you're indeed one win away from your target, which you set yourself a year and a half earlier in Christmas 2021. And this game
Fair
was played on the 4th of August 2023. Let's go through the game. E4, best by test, says Bobby Fischer. E5, and we have the knight developed. D6, bishop B5. Always good to pin your opponent's pieces. Knight G to E7. Of course, if you take the knight, he can recapture with the knight and keeps his pawns nicely straightened out. But at the same time, the drawback is it's standing in the way of the bishop. You castled H6 to probably keep a future bishop from G5 or knight jump to G5. Push in the center. Exactly. Let's get our stuff in the center. Let's dominate the center. A6. We're not going to swap unless it's fabulous or forced. Taking the center and knight takes. Nice move. The knight on C6 spinned. Cannot take your knight on D4, but it's also protected by your queen, so no problem there. Break the pin. That makes sense. And you jump to F5. He decides to swap. You take with the pawn, and he takes with the bishop. So that costs you a pawn there.
Hmm.
Okay.
So let's go back. Can we just see how I lost the pawn there, please?
Yes. So it was after bishop d7. You played
So,
knight. You decided to play knight f5, and
right.
attackers versus defenders.
Hmm. Fair enough. One, two,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But it's not a big disaster. Okay, it's a pawn. We don't want to lose a pawn, but the engine says white is still a little bit better, even though black has just won a pawn. Why would the engine say that, Aaron? Why is white a bit
Yeah.
better here?
It's because the king safety.
Yeah, development.
Um,
White is much better developed.
right.
He already
Just
castled, and black is still a couple of moves away from castling, and it's white's move as well.
fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You have nice active pieces, and your bishop will come out, and everybody's playing already, and he still has a bishop at home and a king in the center. So white is a little bit better, even though he's a pawn
Hmm.
down. You decided to take. B takes and give a check.
Hmm.
Well, he has a natural defense, bishop e7, developing the bishop, preparing to castle, and now you're by taking on c6, you probably lost your advantage now
Hmm.
because that taking on c6 was not necessary. That was
Yeah, I
anyway.
just thought double pawns, and then I thought, then the B file's open. That's why I took it really.
Yeah, the b file is open for him, right? Not for you.
Yeah, I just thought for me as well. I didn't think
No.
for him. Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, those are small bits and pieces that you
Yeah.
don't really have to worry too much about as a 995 player.
Yeah.
Um, Bishop f4 is a good move. Developing, he castles, also a good move. He's now caught up on development. And you played b4. And he played d5, attacking that b4 pawn. I'm not crazy about the b4 move. It's not really going anywhere. And now it's suddenly attacked as well. Um, When you see that your pawn on b4 is attacked, what's a way to make sure you're not going to lose that pawn?
Pawn a3.
Yeah, simple chess. Just a3.
Did I
Just like,
play that?
you didn't. Yeah, you played queen f3 instead. I see your point. You're threatening to play the bishop away, and then suddenly that bishop is unprotected. Little threats make things difficult for your opponent. But you can just take that second pawn, and you don't really have a great move with your bishop to attack his bishop. Where you could think of, can I win a pawn back with, for example, bishop takes c7. And after queen takes c7, I take the unprotected bishop. But then this guy hangs.
Yeah.
Because the queen was protecting it, so that doesn't really work. So he has time to take on b4, which he did, and you played queen g3. And that is a nice idea of bishop takes h6 with the g pawn being pinned. Like in the previous game, you're playing for a king's attack on the king. That's always good. Nobody likes his king to be under attack, so this is a good move. Practically, he plays a very sensible move, bishop g6. Bishop takes h6 out of the position because the g pawn is no longer pinned, and also that bishop on f5 was a loose piece, and now it is defended, and it's quite naturally defending its king. Bishop g6 is a nice defensive move from black. I have to commend him for that. Another line that I looked at is d4 that he could play because your knight is pinned. Your knight is now attacked but cannot play because then you can see there's an attack on the rook.
Yeah.
And if you then play bishop takes h6, you can still defend with queen f6. And you don't get checkmated on g7. This guy is hanging, and this guy is hanging, and it all works out okay for black. But I find what he played, so here, this all started with d5, d4, but I like his move that he played bishop g6. He's 2 pawns up, and safety first. Bishop g6 is a very natural defensive move. But you say, I'm going to take on c7. Because that pawn was, just attackers versus defenders. This pawn is attacked twice and only defended once. So you win a pawn back that way. That was a drawback of bishop g6, that it drops a pawn, and now you're only 1 pawn down.
Yeah.
So that's good that you spotted that. You snack a pawn, queen f6. Yeah, really, he plays for king safety, and I can't blame him. That's always important. His king is now, there's lots of defenders around it now. He's also doubly attacking the knight with queen and bishop. And your next move is very good. Bishop e5. Make sure you don't lose the knight. Attacking his queen. Queen e7. And here you can take on g7.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Oh, you saw it? Yeah.
Yeah.
The discovered attack against his queen.
Yeah.
So you win a second pawn back. Well, you win more because he has to save his queen and you're going to take the rook.
Yeah, I just saw that G7. I just said it just as you were saying it. So
I heard you say it. Yeah, I should have asked you here.
Yeah.
Discovered attack. Yeah. You see what happens to your position when you have active pieces. Your pieces are doing stuff, and suddenly tactics become available. Unfortunately, you made a mistake here. You played bishop d6. You thought, I'm going to keep attacking that queen.
Oh, yeah, and I forgot.
And why is it a bad move?
Because the bishop on b4. I just saw the rook and the queen aligned, and I thought it's protected by the queen pin. He's going to move his queen, and I'm going to get the rook. That's honestly what I thought.
Yeah.
Around.
So what is black's move here?
Bishop takes d6.
Okay, but you attack this queen, right?
Pardon?
But his black's queen is attacked. It's still bishop takes d6, still good?
I take his queen with the rook.
Yeah.
Was that on?
No, this is a he played bishop takes d6. That's what he played. It's not a good move.
It's not
Um,
a move.
well, it's not the best move because you have rook takes e7.
Yeah,
What does black play here?
takes my rook.
Yeah. What else can he take? Higher valued piece.
Oh, hold on. Did I blunder my queen?
Well, it's an odd queen swap, isn't it? You took his queen, he can take yours.
Yeah.
So let's finish the line. Bishop takes g3, and then you can
Take
recapture
that.
it.
So
And the smoke has cleared. And how would you assess this?
I'm down by 1 pawn.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a line that would have been possible after bishop takes d6, which is not the best move, even though black ends up with an extra pawn. But you could have won a piece by rook takes queen, bishop takes queen, and then you take the bishop. So let me ask you the question again. After bishop d6, which is a bad move from white, we just looked at bishop takes d6. What's another move here that black can play, a better move than bishop takes d6?
Queen take d6.
Yes, queen takes d6. Because your queen was attacked by the rook, and now you just take the bishop, and it's protected by the bishop on b4, and black is a piece up.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but he took with the bishop, and instead of rook takes e7 that we just looked at, you played knight takes d5.
Oh, so I could have took the queen.
You did what, sorry?
I could have took his queen.
Yes, you could have. The variation we looked at is rook takes e7 and bishop takes g3 and h takes g3. And then we concluded that black is a pawn up.
But in the game, what can we go back? Sorry, let's go back to the actual game. What happened?
So you played bishop d6, and he should have
Yes.
taken with the queen, but he took with the bishop.
And then
And
I
now
could have his queen.
you could have taken the queen, he can take yours, and you take his bishop, and black is a pawn up. That we just looked at that, right?
Yeah.
Instead of that, which is the best move here for white, is to take the queen, because you get a bishop at the end
Yeah.
after the queen swap. You decided to take on d5.
Okay.
And
Oh, I think because I wanted to take with check.
yeah,
Don't know why.
okay.
Because I just took something here. Did I just take a pawn?
You took a pawn, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why. I thought I'd take the pawn. At least I win the pawn in the variation back, I thought, in the exchange.
Yeah, okay. Well, you were right, because he took on g3, which is not the right move, because now, as you said, you took with check, so you got what you wanted.
Yes.
And after king h7, you first took on g6, and after
Yeah.
he recaptured, then you took back on g3.
Oh,
And
nice. We're back on equal terms.
equal turns because you snagged that pawn on d5 as well. So in that earlier line, black was still a pawn up, but in this line, he's not, because we have snagged a pawn in the meantime.
So you know me taking with the knight to win the pawn. That wasn't bad then, was it?
Well, let's go back to that moment. Thank you for saying that, because no, it doesn't work. It did work in a game, so practically it worked. Again, you set your opponent problems. You set him enough problems that he fell for it. But objectively, it's not a good move. And well, let me show you the move. Queen d8 is the best move here for black. And why is white now suddenly not happy?
Well, I have to move my queen tempo. And
Yeah.
then he can take. So if I move, where would I move to? Let's say E3. Yeah. And then my knight's for free.
Yeah. And no more funny business. You're just two bishops
So
down.
yeah, it's a double attack really. He's
Exactly.
attacking pieces.
Yeah. After queen d8, he's attacking the knight and the queen. Yeah, double attack. Yeah. two pieces of you are hanging. You cannot solve. Well, you can actually solve two problems in one go. You can play knight f4 here. You save the knight and you save the. But then he has a move like queen c7. The knight is pinned and attacked twice, and you cannot defend it again. Rook e4 doesn't work to defend it. So you lose that piece after all.
Damn.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a double attack. And that's why knight takes d5. It's not a good move because after just simple chess saves the queen from the attack. He's attacking two of your pieces and you're going to lose one of them. But okay, that's not what happened. He took on g3. He believed you. You set him enough problems. That's with check. And you decided to take on g6, f takes, and h takes c3. And we're back on level terms. So your bluff, yeah, you made it crazy enough. You made it complicated enough. It wasn't completely sound, but you got back. And that's all that I said it to you a few times. I said it, I think, in the previous video as well. It's setting your opponent problems is a very important part of chess.
Yeah.
And I've played stronger players than me in an over the board game, and I was winning or I was doing really well. And then they're just much better at setting problems and another problem. And you know, you might sidestep the first problem, you might sidestep the second problem, but if they keep setting you problems, then after 4 or 5, and your clock is running down, and you're getting tired, and you're getting nervous, and then you fall for one of their tricks. And that is, you see this so often. A weaker player or lower rated player almost getting a scalp of a higher rated player, but they just refuse to lie down. They start to set you problems.
Yeah.
Very often, yeah, it still works.
I just feel like the problems that I set, you can easily set by them. The only reason I'm getting by on them is because we're at a very low level. I want to be making the problems and actually like good problems, not problems that it's a bluff.
Yeah, okay, but you know, if you play at a 995 rating level, then also your problem setting skills are also at about that rate. You cannot expect somebody to set problems like a grandmaster. So that skill will also increase as you get stronger. But I keep making the point because it's not often called out as an important skill in chess, but it's a hugely important skill to fight back in bad positions or in lost positions, set your opponent problems and dig in and dig in your heels and not give up, which you're good at anyway, but also then use your skill to give your opponent a chance to make a mistake. That's so
And I
many
think
games.
that's why I chose the first two games of losing the queen. Because if there's any games that demonstrates those intangible qualities I do have, it's those two.
Well, exactly. I think I called it out in the videos on those two games that you mentioned, that you set your opponent a few problems. Okay, in the game 2 videos ago, you pinned his bishop. He played his bishop away, and the rook takes e1 checkmate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also in the other game, you set enough problems. The last video where you put your both rooks on the A file, you had to put his rook in the corner. Okay, not earth-shattering, but you set him some problems. You don't lie down and let him take you to the cleaners. You fight back and you set problems, and that's a skill, a very important skill in chess as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, let's see how this finished up, because we're getting to a very important moment in your chess life. He played rook a8. Probably was a bit disappointed that he is now in an equal rook endgame. Oh yeah, you played rook to d1, and I wonder which rook would you play to d1 if you could do this?
A1.
Yeah, and why?
It's not at the party.
Exactly, rook a1. That's the move, almost automatic move. But you played the other one. Yeah, again, you didn't spoil anything here. Excuse me, but the rook on a1 is a bit unhappy with you. Why can I not be at the party? And now the big moment. Your opponent mouse slipped.
He must have.
And you said, thank you very much. Move 25, the 4th of August, 2023. Black resigned, and your rating jumped from 995 to
1002. Hey!
1002.
The blood, the sweat, the tears, the ups and downs, me saying I hate chess, me loving it, me watching all the videos. Thanks for the support. It's been absolutely brilliant, Rick, and most of all, thanks to you because chess has consumed my life. It's made me really happy. There's a lot of life skills that I've took from chess. You know, when that checkmate in the Queen, when the Queen came out, is it really a problem? Attackers versus defenders, that checkmate sequence, forks, you know, king safety, coffee house. You know, it's been an absolute lovely subculture of a way of life, and I've really enjoyed it. So thank you.
Yeah, well, and well done to you, because we swapped a lot of messages in between our sessions, and I've had some voice messages from you where you were almost ready to pack it in because you didn't feel you made progress, and it had an effect on you when you lost games.
Yeah,
But
did.
packing things in does not seem to be what you do.
No, and I was bluffing myself, and I had my laptop broke, and it got fixed, and I hadn't played for about 3 weeks, and I missed it that much. I just loved it. I kept playing and playing, and I played 24 games. I won 18, I lost six, and I kept going and going. And there's a lot more games I could have picked where, like you said, Castle into the Storm and then the Battery Checkmate. I could have easily showed them where I just won loads, but I think these three, I had to show this one, of course, but the other two, you know, I don't think we've got in the series me losing by a queen and coming back. So, you know, to just lose a blunder a night and then just resign, you know, and look at I'm blundering queens and still carrying on. Just shows my character, really. I shouldn't be blundering them to begin with. Don't get me wrong. I am looking from 1,000 to 1,200 to really iron out all those mistakes, of course. But, you know, we'll see what happens. When I watch boxing, there's a quote. They say the qualities he possesses, you cannot teach, but what he lacks, you can teach. And I hope
Mm.
I'm on that same cloth. What I have, you can't teach because you've got to have it in you to want to continue with a piece down or two pieces or playing for tricks in that one video where, you know, I was completely down and out, but I carried on. Coffee house stuff, you know, or you know, the stuff I lack, like looking at safe moves. Is it a safe move? Is there a checkmate? I can be taught. So that's the cloth I want to come from, really.
Yeah, well, you nail on the head. You can't teach somebody to fight and to not hang their heads, but you can give them you can teach somebody to have some skills, technical chess skills, but
Yeah.
not the fighting spirit. That's you have that or you don't. And by the way, all strong chess players have it. You know, there's no very strong chess player who is not a fighter because you don't become a grandmaster if you not can battle in bad positions and save half a point, by the skin of your teeth. That's a crucial skill in chess, and that stands you nicely that you have that already.
Yeah. And like just lastly, Rick, like, you know, it wouldn't be a celebration speech without, you know, you sharing a few words because, you know, you always say, you know, you were playing chess before. Not, I don't mean to sound rude, but before I was even born, and you've done this and you've shared some lovely stories. To see me come along, you know, 500, saying, "Oh, let's work together," and this, you know, I know you've probably seen a lot of students come and go and all sorts. For you, not just with me, but for the love of chess, how does it feel to like on your side to see it come to fruition?
It's I have the best job in the world. I mean, I love chess, and I work with people who love chess. Otherwise, they would not part with their hard-earned cash to for me to help them, and to see them improve. And yeah, like you had a very concrete goal. That's also great about chess. You can really measure your strength because there is this rating number attached to it, and then achieve the goal. And it wasn't all plain sailing from the start. So it's very satisfactory. It's great. We've developed a friendship as well, and it's great to see that you did it. It's a pity that it's a mouse slip that brought you to 2002, but it doesn't matter. Um, it's and my question is really, Aaron, is this it, or do you have Are you going to set yourself a new goal?
Yeah, well, obviously, me being me, the perfectionist that I am, it cannot end here. The next goal now will be, 1,200, and it's only 200 points or less, 198. But as we know, I can go back to 900, and then I'll have to come up. So it's going to be really tough. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to iron out all this. It's going to be clean chess from now on. It's got to be no miss chess. It's got to be on the money because otherwise I'm not going to survive. So yeah, the journey continues. The end of
Okay.
one race is the beginning of another, and I'm enjoying the taste of success. So why stop now?
Well, music to my ears. It's great. And 1,200. Yeah, that's a big jump. 200 points. And you're right. You probably will get below 1,000, and you think, what is happening here?
Yeah,
But no, but I definitely see progress. You really are not just your rating is progressing, but your understanding of the game. And yeah, a lot of I clicked through most of your games, and a lot of your games are real chess. And if I compare that to Christmas 2021, where you were just yeah
yeah.
putting your pieces on random squares almost, and this is very very different. So I'm I'm convinced you can make 1,200. The only thing, as I said, is you're a real player. You love to play, and you probably to get 200 points up, you probably will need to put some studying in as well.
That's fine. Whatever it takes, um, we'll do it, and we'll see what happens, really.
But
But
maybe I'm
thank
wrong. Maybe you can by just playing, you can get there as well. But yeah,
no,
definitely some. We need to study some end games. I know, for example, you don't know yet how to checkmate with king and rook versus king. Well, now that you're at this level, you really need to know that. And I'll teach you that in 10 minutes, and then we practice it. So it will only take 20 minutes for the whole session, and then you know it forever. But that's a skill. That type of stuff, and king and pawn versus king, some end game. Most of your games are finished well before the end game, but as your rating gets higher, you will probably play more end games because the games will last longer because people stop giving away queens, rooks, and other material early in the game.
yeah. But to know, thank you for being along, Rick, and thanks to everybody watching. And
Okay.
the journey continues.
Yes. Well done, Aaron. Congratulations.